Hey guys, hey. I'm just getting caught up on like kind of going through things in the group, going through email, doing all the things. And I saw a comment and I started writing and I was just like, I'm just going to go on video. So there was a comment. Someone listened to my podcast episode, Unpopular Opinions about Avatars, and she said that helped her like get her momentum back, right? But she was asking me, she's stuck on titles. So she was asking me how I do titles. So I'll give you guys some like practical tips and then I'll tell you guys, I'll give you guys the pep talk. I feel like that is really needing to go with this. So practical tip wise, if I'm trying to rank for Google, when I write a post, I'm very aware of where I'm trying to put it. If I'm trying to write a post for Google, that is very intentionally researched. It's very intentionally keyworded. It's very intentionally set up. I learned SEO from Stupid Simple SEO. So if you have that course, you know what I'm talking about. Like there's a lot of research and thought and targeting that goes into those posts. But you guys know me and I have a lot of things to say. And I'm not willing to only talk about things that I will rank for. I have a lot of people to help, a lot of things on my heart, a lot of things to say, right? And I'm not going to not say them because they're not going to rank in Google, which is why Pinterest has been so great and is so great for someone like me, right? That just has a lot of things to say. I'm not going to only write posts for Google that I think I can rank. I'm going to write what I'm called to say, what's on my heart. And then those posts I will put on Pinterest. But I'm very aware when I'm writing a post where I'm trying to get that post to rank, right? So that's the first thing. The thing with titles, and what I'll do is I'll keyword my titles. So if I'm trying to rank in SEO, there's a lot that goes into SEO. I almost don't even want to talk about it, but I will say kind of one of my tips that I use that I really, really like. I have a browser extension for Chrome. It's called Keywords Everywhere. And what it does is when you type something into Google and you search, it will tell you how many people have searched that keyword, right? And so it just kind of helps because it's like, I'm not going to write a title that has 0 searches, right? For Google. I do a lot more research than that now for SEO posts, to be honest with you. I'm not like killing it on SEO by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm not going to come on here and pretend and bullshit to you guys that I like know all about SEO because I don't, right? I'm still learning and still trying it out and testing it out. And honestly, it doesn't excite me like at all. And so I haven't tried that hard is what I'm saying. Almost all of my traffic comes from Pinterest. Like I get a chunk from Google and it is going up. And I think if I put effort into it, I could get it to go up higher, but it doesn't excite me. And so I'm not doing it right now, which I don't recommend to you. That's not like a strategy tip. So, and I put those keywords in the title, right? You can do that, right? It's smart. You can do that, whatever. The other thing is like with Pinterest, you can put whatever title you want on those graphics, right? So the text on your pin, your image doesn't have to be the title of your post. It can be whatever you want. So a lot of times I'll change, the titles or I'll say something else. And the thing is, she's like, oh, I see a lot of people doing like 5 things to da-da-da-da-da. The reason people are doing that is because that's what people click on. Like I can just tell you, like when I go look at my posts, or my pins on Pinterest, my analytics, my top posts are all like 10 ways to do this, 5 ways to do that, whatever. So a lot of times I'll even write like, I'll just write the post and then I'll be like, oh, this is 5 ways to blah, blah, blah. And I'll just kind of count how many tips I have in the article, right? I don't write it for that, but I will title it that way because I know that gets clicks. And the other thing is like, I'm like a huge advocate of making a lot of content, which is not I feel like a popular strategy in the blogging space necessarily. Like people are very like you have to write like really long content and it has to be super thought out. I'm like, you should just be cranking out posts when you start. You just should be. You should be writing however many posts you think you should be writing. You probably should be writing like 3 times as many posts as what you think, like when you're starting. And it's so funny because in the beginning is when you need to be moving fast. That's when you really need to be moving. You need to be cranking out content, right? To find your voice, figure out your avatar, figure out what works. The only way to figure it out is to make a lot of content, right? Once you write 100 posts, you'll know like what titles work, right? And it's different for every audience, right? The things, and this is like what's annoying is like, you can ask me or ask people and we can give you tips. But the truth is there's so many people doing all kinds of different strategies, and there's different things that work for different people at different times in different niches, and everything changes so fast in this kind of environment that we're in that it's like, you know, you just kind of got to roll with it. But the more you write, the more practice you get at coming up with titles, the more practice you get at trying titles and see, does this work? Does this rank? What do I like to write about? What do my people like to read about? You know, what is this all going to be about? The only way to figure that out is to move. And people get it confused, right? People spend a lot of time standing still thinking, I'm going to figure out the perfect tagline. I'm going to figure out the perfect categories. I'm going to figure out all these things. They're standing still, planning, right? Planning, thinking about what is my title going to be? I'm going to think of the perfect title. That is not helpful. It's just not. And the reason I say that is I can almost guarantee that once you're doing this for a year, you're going to change your branding. You're going to change your name. You're going to change your font colors. You're going to change your avatar. You're going to change what you want to talk about. Things just shift. And it's very hard for you to hit that target, to really hit your target and be like, I know exactly what this is. I know my brand. I know my avatar. I know everything. I know my categories. I have it all figured out. It's very hard for you to hit that target when you're not moving. It's like, yeah, you have to have an idea to start with, but take your idea and move forward, right? And all of this stuff when you're standing still, and you guys know what I'm talking about, right? When you're in paralysis, when you're just like brainstorming title ideas, like people spend like a month thinking of their blog idea. You know, you have to move fast. And I move fast, and I think it serves me really well in business. And I know, like, you know, I went through the struggle too, you guys, in the beginning. Like, I understand, but I'm just trying to give you, like, if I could go back to when I started, I would tell myself, like, just move, like, just go, like, quit trying to figure it out. The best way to learn is by doing, right? And that's where people get confused. They think they're going to learn all this stuff, take all these courses, think about all these things, but they're not making content. The job is making content. The job is saying something. Say something to your people, right? And if you're not making content, in my mind, it's like you're not doing the job, right? You're not doing the job. So you have to prioritize making the content. I talked about this, was it a podcast or a video? I can't even remember right now. But I talked about this before where it was like, I was like, you know, if you want your blog to be a job, you have to show up to it like a job. If you got hired by a company to make content and your job was to make content, and then you spent a month brainstorming, coming up with the perfect tagline, with the perfect titles for all your posts, but you didn't make any content, are you doing the job? Like, are you doing your job, right? It's the same. You're not doing your job when you're sitting around brainstorming, thinking all these things. Making decisions and making decisions fast will serve you in business. And there's a lot of research on CEOs, like successful CEOs, you know, that are responsible for tons and tons of money and hundreds of jobs and all these people. They make decisions fast, right? It's like, take the information and then make a choice. You know, give yourself an hour, come up with the name of your blog, right? Give yourself 10 minutes, come up with the name for your post, right? And you can just write the post and do the title last. I didn't read all the comments. I saw someone, I think, commented that. And that's really good advice. Just write the post and then title it later. But if you're not making content, you're not doing the job. The job of being a blogger is to write blog posts. If you're not writing blog posts, you're not doing the job. Does that make sense? So it's like, you've got to be moving. And then the other thing I always say is, like, it's easier to steer something that's already moving. When you let these things stop you, when you let things slow you down, I have to have the perfect title, I have to have the perfect branding, I have to have the perfect things. When you let those things slow you down, it's harder, right? It's easier to steer something that's already moving. You need creative momentum. You need momentum. Just get going, right? And that's why I'm always on here, like, preaching you guys, like make more content, move. Because I know once you start making content, that it will be easier to steer. It'll get you moving, right? It'll bring up that creative energy. And that's why that's almost always my advice to people who are starting is, like, make more content. Make more content will solve almost every problem you have. blogging in the beginning, right? Make more content will help you figure out your avatar. Make more content will help you figure out your voice, your writing, what you want to write about, all of your stuff, right? All of these problems that people have in the beginning, almost all of them can be solved by making more content. And if you write blog posts that suck in the beginning, who cares? You can go back and take them down. Doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. It's not, you're not printing it in a book. You're not carving it in stone, right? I still have a ton of sucky blog posts on my blog. They're just old and they're back there and no one reads them. Like, who cares, right? But I had to write a lot of content to become good at writing blog posts because I sucked at writing blog posts. And that's just the truth, right? So that's my kind of pep talk for you guys for the day. Make content. The job is making content. The job is not thinking of the perfect tagline, thinking of the perfect title, finding the perfect graphics. I used to spend so long going through all the stock images, finding the perfect images for my blog posts. You know what I mean? It's like the job is like creating content and like getting it done and getting it done efficiently. And you just can't let fear stand in your way. The other thing I'll say, like really quickly, I'll say one more thing about this. This stuff is almost always fear-based. It's almost always fear-based. There's something in you that is scared. If I don't pick the right title, I'm gonna fail. Or if I don't have the right avatar, I'm gonna fail. Or I'm not good enough. Or I don't really want people to see my writing because I don't think my writing is good enough. What if my writing's not good? What if no one likes what I have to say? Whatever that fear is, you need to blow it up. Blow it up. Because you don't have time for it, right? And you guys have heard me go on this rant, but we have too many people to help. You have too much good to do. You have too much success to have, right? You have too many dreams to chase to let fear slow you down, right? You don't have time. You do not have time. And that's almost always like kind of how I deal with that fear is like, you know, because I still have a lot of fear. I was talking about this the other day, but you know, kind of the bigger my business gets, the more intense, honestly, the fear gets because the stakes are higher. Right now I have people that I'm hiring that rely on me. Now I have more bills like, you know, to pay. You know, the stakes are higher in my mind. And so it brings up all this fear. But I'm always like, you know what? I don't have time for this. I have people that need me. I have people to serve. There's people dying from depression. There's women killing themselves over this. And I have tools that can help them. And I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this fear. And I don't have time for anything that slows me down. And you have to get yourself in that mindset, whatever it is for you. It doesn't have to be like for service. I don't want you guys to think that. And I just did like a rant on the podcast about making money. You know, if your goal is to make money and support your family, great. You know, you got to give yourself this pep talk where it's like, I need to be able to be home with my kids. I need to make sure my family doesn't have to worry about money. I need to make sure like we're all taken care of, and I don't have time for this, right? Whatever it is that's like really important, use that to elevate yourself over the fear to where the fear just seems like stupid, right? When I start thinking about, oh my gosh, what if someone doesn't like my content, or my ex-boyfriend's mom sees my blog, or what if someone sees my videos, you know, that I know, and it would be so embarrassing. When I start thinking like, I have lives to save, I have lives to change, I have women that need me, it's like that stuff seems so small and insignificant to me that I don't care, right? I don't care who sees my videos in real life and who laughs at me. I don't care who thinks I'm stupid. I don't care about people on the internet not liking me, which happens all the time, right? I just don't care. And so you have to find whatever it is for you that gets yourself in that space where you're like, I don't care. I don't care if I pick the wrong title. I don't care if no one reads this blog post because I'm going to move forward and I'm going to build this business. I'm going to reach a lot of people, right? Not every blog post you write is going to be read by people. And that's just the truth, right? Especially in the beginning. But you've got to be making the content to build the platform to reach your people. Does that make sense? So I hope that's helpful. But don't let stuff like that slow you down, right? And whatever that fear is, blow it up. I don't have time for it. Just energetically, like, blow it up. I just did a video. I'll tell you guys this real quick. This is like kind of weird, but I just did a video on my mental health Facebook group about this. But you guys know I've been like struggling personally and sad and like going through all this stuff this week. But it's bringing up all this other, like, you know when you have like a bad week and then your brain is like, oh, let's revisit every traumatic bad thing that's ever happened to you. I have all this stuff like popping up in my brain. And I just have been energetically telling it no. So if you're in your house and you say like no, like from like the bottom of your stomach, and you like yell like no, like really loud, you say no, and you feel the energy, feel that energy, feel what it feels like to say no. in your body. And when your brain starts telling you like stupid crap, like if you don't have the perfect title, you'll fail and your blog will fail, and you have to have the perfect title, because I don't know what the fear is around the title, but there's some kind of fear around that for you, right? Energetically in your body, say no. Like think no in your head, but you have to charge it by feeling the feeling of no in your body. Like, do you know what no feels like in your body, in your stomach, in the bottom of your heart when you say no? And you tell your brain, like, no, like we're not doing this. Like, I don't have time for this. And tell your brain no, and then energetically charge it with that feeling of like what you would feel like in your body if I yelled no as loud as I can. What does that feel like in my body, right? And then call that feeling up and tell your brain, like, no, like we're not doing this. I don't have time for this fear, right? So you can I'm using that to set energetic boundaries, like with my brain, because my brain right now, because I'm going through like, trauma and stress and grief and all these different emotions right now, my brain is just kind of running wild. It's just kind of like, and I have to be the boss, right? It's almost like a child or something, where it's like, I have to give it boundaries and tell it no, like that's not okay. Like we're not going down that road. Like I don't have time to be thinking about things that happened 5 years ago. I just don't, right? And so I energetically am telling my brain no. I'm aware, like we're cognitively aware as human beings. And so set boundaries with your brain. When your brain starts telling you crazy stories, whatever it is, you'll fail, you'll never be good enough, your writing's not good, your blog is ugly, so-and-so did it, but I could never do it. Whatever the story is, right? Tell your brain, no, I'm not telling that story anymore. That's not my truth. No. Like, we're not doing that, and don't negotiate. And this is the other thing, like, I feel like I could just keep talking forever. One more thing about this is like, don't negotiate with your brain, because when you have those troll thoughts, the fear thoughts come up, they will try to get you to engage with them and to think about that, or to start thinking about things that happened 5 years ago, and it'll start bringing up all these different thoughts and all these different fears and all this different stuff. Don't negotiate, don't go there, just say no, right? And I just talked about this in the other video I made, but I think it's kind of relevant. I used to have a really hard time going to the gym, like really, really bad. and I realized the reason it was hard, it wasn't going to the gym was hard, it was all the negotiation I did before going to the gym. So, in the morning I would wake up and I would start negotiating with my brain of like, oh, maybe I'll go to the gym tonight, maybe I'll go tomorrow, maybe I'll do a shorter workout, maybe I'll do a longer workout, maybe I'll just go for a walk. And it was just this never-ending negotiation that took so much energy. And so I started I go to the gym at the same time every day. Every day, no matter what. There's no room for negotiation. I go to the gym, at 8 or whatever time it is, right? I go to the gym every day at 8. That's it, right? No negotiating. And when those fear thoughts come up for you around blogging, don't negotiate. The answer is no. This is not my truth. No, I don't have time to negotiate with you. I don't have time to think about these thoughts. I don't have time to dwell on it, right? The answer is no. This is not my truth. I don't have time for this. The answer is no. And just don't engage, right? And you're cognitively aware, right? As humans, it's such an amazing gift that we have, because you're aware of what your thoughts are, and you get to decide what your truth is. So don't engage in those thoughts, right? Don't let the fear keep building on itself. Okay, I hope this was somewhat helpful. This is like a whole rant I wasn't planning on going on. Okay, I'll talk to you guys soon. I love you guys. Have a good day. I'm going to try and go through the group and answer questions, but I'm really behind on email and life and everything. So if you guys have asked me things and I haven't responded, that's why. And maybe ask me again and tag me, because I want to help. I just am behind, and it's a little overwhelming to think about trying to go through and like all the Facebook groups and find everyone and find comments and like go through email and all this stuff. So give me a little bit of grace, and I'm happy to help you. Just tag me and maybe leave the comment again. Okay, I love you guys. Bye.